What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. If you're new here, thanks for checking out the video. My name is Jeremy and this is Jeremy's Wild World. Now, it's all for today's title. Today's video is a really exciting one as I have some babies. And yes, of course, these are the Damon medius whipplings. Now, this is really exciting, and the main reason why I am recording this video is not because the babies hatched, because it's a great opportunity for me to explain captive bred versus captive born. Now, I will be talking about this, of course, later in today's video, but it's a really interesting topic, and I may also talk about it in a podcast in more detail and everything. And yeah, so that's the main purpose of today's video, is to basically explain these are captive born and not captive bred, and yes, there is a difference. So before we get into today's video, I just want to quickly say that according to my YouTube statistics, a lot of you guys who watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more, click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell down below so you guys don't miss out on future content. Now, without further ado, let's start today's video by showing you the breeding enclosure.
Alright guys, so to start off today's video, before we get into the main topic of talking about captive bred versus captive born, I just wanted to show you the enclosure I'm currently keeping the Damon medius in. Now if I just pan out here, you can see at the moment I'm just keeping it in the very simple BRED Plus cubes. I love these things, they're absolutely fantastic when it comes to breeding and, to be honest, keeping your inverts in general. They're very cost efficient. You can buy them in bulk for very cheap. I get mine from Internet Reptile here in the UK. But yeah, you can see here they are fantastic, but quite spacious for the amount you're paying for. The only downsides is, you know, like they don't come with ventilation, so you do have to drill your own stuff in, but obviously that's not a problem if you have like a drill. As you can see here, I drilled holes on the sides and on the top of the lid just to ensure there's cross ventilation. And of course you can adjust it to how much you like it. So if you want a more humid species, of course keep less holes in it and everything. But the reason why these ones have quite a fair holes in it, although I am keeping a Damon medius which needs high humidity, just because I don't want the substrate getting super damp, so I like to have a little bit higher ventilation, just so the substrate doesn't become soaking wet. There's keeping humidity and there's the substrate being damp. Like, that's the difference. I don't want the substrate being damp because that's just a breeding ground for bacteria. But we'll talk about that in another day. But yeah, so very simple tub. Obviously, because it is a breeding tub, well, a holding tub for her, so because I didn't breed her, I'll explain that in the next clip. Just, you know, very basic setup. If I just pop the lid open here, just one piece of cork bark, some substrate which is topsoil and sand, some leaf litter just to give it a little bit more aesthetic looks, and of course sphagnum moss in the corner just to keep up that humidity. So this tub, again, you can keep them in here, but like if you're not fussed about, like, you know, display enclosures or glass and acrylic, like these plastic tubs are absolutely fantastic, just so long as you have the ventilation drilled in properly. You can keep them in here. I like to use these for both keeping my inverts in as well as having them as breeding tubs and holding tubs for females. But yeah, so that is pretty much the tub. Let's move on to the next clip where we talk about captive bred versus captive born. Alright guys, so now that we talked about the enclosures I'm keeping the Damon medius in, I thought it's about time that I show you her. Now, I just want to do this quickly because, of course, these guys and girls don't really like light that much. They tend to avoid it since they do come from caves. And yeah, so as you can see right here, this is a Damon medius female, commonly known as a Tailless whip scorpion, an absolutely gorgeous species of Amblopygid. These are the family that they belong to, the Amblopygi. Arachnids, not exactly scorpions, not tarantulas, they are in their own family within the genus Arachnidae. So you can see right here, absolutely gorgeous, quite menacing to someone that's not into inverts. These are quite known for making their appearance in the Harry Potter movies as being quite deadly, but in all to be realistic, these guys are not deadly to you at all. They won't cause you any harm, absolutely harmless. These guys just use these big claws at the front. These are actually their pedipalps. Just like scorpions, they have their pincers, which are their pedipalps. These guys have evolved their pedipalps with these claws at the front to grab onto prey. They're not venomous at all. The front bits actually can move a little bit. You can see the joint in between there. They can move and grab prey in the dark. And what's also cool, this one's missing one, but they've adapted their front legs for feelers. So because they live in pretty much like dark areas with no light at all, you can see their eyes very tiny. They can only really see light and darkness. They use these little feeler legs to feel around in the caves, feel for prey, find hiding spots and stuff like that. But we're not talking about the Damon medius in general today. We're talking about these little spaghetti noodles. So these are her babies. As you can see, I'm really happy of how they're doing so far. She's got a fair few. I haven't done an exact count, but I'm guessing around 20 to 25 babies at the moment. And you can see just right here, absolutely adorable. They're still pretty fresh. They will stay on the mum's back for a few days before hardening up or molting out, sorry, and then hardening up, and then it'll be free roaming. And once they do, I'll take them out from the enclosure and house them separately. So today's main topic is talking about captive bred versus captive born. Now you're probably wondering, Jeremy, why are we talking about this today? And that's simply because this female, I did not breed her myself. She actually came to me with the egg sac. A massive shout out to Ben from Ben's Pets, or actually no, not Ben's Pets anymore, the Phasmid Farm. He has rebranded his channel, guys, so I will highly recommend checking out, and I will leave a link down in the description below just as a thank you for picking up this girl for me at one of the shows. Pretty sure it was the Southwestern show. It was supposed to be Bugfest, but yeah, so he picked this girl up for me, and she was carrying an egg sac. If I have a picture somewhere, I will throw it in. I'm pretty sure I lost the pictures for them though, but yeah, she was already carrying the egg sac, and now the babies have hatched. Now you're probably wondering, Jeremy, surely this was bred by the company, but if I'm completely honest, most likely not. This girl came from Spider Shop, and this was a wild caught female, so most likely is that she was mated in the wild, and then she produced a sac in captivity, and Ben just so happened to stumble upon her carrying that egg sac. Now that's the one thing, the difference between captive bred versus captive born is that captive born individuals are babies that have been born from a wild caught parent that has been bred in captivity. So a comparison would be, if you guys have seen my Heteropoda David Bowie video, those are wild caught parents. Both the male and the female were wild caught parents. However, I did breed them and produced captive bred babies. So that's pretty much the definition of captive bred, that being having babies produced from wild caught parents or captive bred parents that were bred together in captivity. Now, there is nothing wrong with having captive born babies. Actually, it is really, really good that we have some captive bred baby, or captive born, sorry, in the hobby, simply because it reduces the amount that needs to be collected from the wild. Of course, with species with scorpions and true spiders, a lot of them are wild caught nowadays, just because not a lot of them are bred in captivity. But what I plan to do with my collection and stuff like that is to breed species that aren't commonly bred. So for example, the Damon medius and other scorpion species. True spiders are one I definitely wanted to be working with a lot in the next upcoming years, just to ensure that I'm producing a lot more captive bred. Of course, with these little ones, I will be distributing them in the UK, but I might keep a few back just so I have a little breeding group of captive born individuals and get that first generation of captive bred into the hobby. Now, one other good thing about captive born individuals is that it actually brings in fresh genetics into the hobby. Now, this meaning that because these guys have not been in captivity before, these guys will have fresh wild genetics, which is always good to ensure that the bloodlines don't get too interbred, especially with like rarer species. But because Damon medius are fairly common, these guys will just have some fresh blood in the hobby. There's nothing wrong with it and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's pretty much the difference between captive bred versus captive born. Again, of course, we always strive to get captive bred into the hobby, and that's something that I want to be doing nowadays, is getting more captive bred individuals into the hobby. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will be doing a little update on these. Possibly I'll add a clip in before I release this video of these guys free roaming once they molt off the mother's back. And yeah, so let's go say goodbye to these spaghetti noodle little ones, and we'll end today's video.
That is the end of today's video. What do you guys think? I'm really happy with how this video turned out. I really hope you enjoyed listening to me explaining basically how captive bred versus captive born works, with captive bred species always being encouraged in the hobby, but captive born individuals is not a bad thing either because it adds fresh genes. Now, I will probably be talking about this in a podcast at some later date in a little bit more detail, but yes, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and as well as seeing the Damon medius whipplings, absolutely adorable. It is so cute how long the little feeler leg things that have adapted are compared to their body. Like, their body span is only about 1 centimeter, and their little whips are like really long. I'd say about close to 10 centimeters long. Really long. But yeah, so they're super cute, and the plan for these is actually I'm going to be growing them up and selling them on at the Invet show in Bedford. Yes, I am vending at the Invet show, so if you guys are going to the Bedford show, do feel free to come over to my table and come say hi and everything, pick out some bugs. We're going to have some cool stuff there. And yeah, so I will also make a official video announcement closer to the date. But yeah, so that's the end of today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you would click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell down below so you guys don't miss out on future content. I also really appreciate if you guys would follow me on Instagram, Jeremy's Wild World, as well as jeremy'swildworld.sales. I'm really active on Instagram, posting pictures of videos of the animals and infants I keep when I don't upload on YouTube. So that's all from me today, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.